All righty. Good morning, good afternoon, and hello to everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We have got a absolutely packed schedule of good content today. We've got Prashanth Shenoy with us, who is the VP of Product Marketing for VCF Division. And with him is a cavalcade of superstars, fresh back from Explore Barcelona. Today, we're talking about private cloud modernization and the program guide to a guide to private cloud transformation. And just as a reminder, tomorrow coming up, we've got network visibility into a VMware Cloud Foundation world. And then coming up on November 19th, just around the corner, we have unlocking the essential elements of private cloud strategies. If you go to go-vmware.broadcom.com/VCF webinars, you'll see our full schedule of upcoming webinars, as well as be able to access recordings for anything that you might have missed, and to be able to share out with any colleagues that may have missed our sessions as well. And we'll get a link to that directly up so that you can have that URL. So with that, Prashanth, let's hand it off to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking the time here today. Pretty excited to be sharing with you some of the work that we've been working with our customers, with our partners, as well as our sales team to bring together this program to help you accelerate your journey to private cloud. Before I go into the presentation, I wanted to make sure people know about the disclaimer that we have here, but more importantly, introduce also Drew Nilsson, who's the head of cloud economics, who's going to share a quick demo on how this all comes together in live so that you can see it real live, the tool that we have put together, as well as Brad Tompkins, who's the executive director of VMUG, our user community and user group, who's going to share what we've done to work closely with them to help drive the reskilling and the retraining needed for the folks to be private cloud champions and experts. Packed agenda, as Anders mentioned. I'll start off with a quick overview on some of the changes that we are seeing in the market, and we are fresh off of Explore Las Vegas and Barcelona over the last few months, and we've seen quite a few of you, your organizations and your peers come there to listen and provide us feedback on what's working and where the state of the market is when it comes to private and hybrid cloud, and what do they need from us. So I'll share some of the trends and where we see the market going, and then focus truly on the key part of this agenda today, which is around the Private Cloud Modernization Program, and go through the demo and then share what are we doing from a tools, from a learning and certification perspective to help you become cloud experts and cloud admins for deploying and managing private cloud environments. So a lot to cover. Now, when it comes to the cloud infrastructure market, when we talk to a lot of organizations, whether they are CIOs, VP of infrastructure, cloud architects, we are seeing a couple of key things happen. Over the last several years, there have been a set of customers who have completely moved or become cloud native, where they have majority of their workloads for their businesses in a public cloud hyperscaler environment. While in certain cases that's worked out well, in a lot of cases, we've seen some major challenges when it comes to a couple of key things, right? Number one, they're seeing an increasing complexity from a cost perspective, where they have their lines of businesses and their end user entities going and driving the workloads, but increasing in complexity of tools, managing those workloads, as well as the challenges that it happens from a migration perspective, refactoring of the applications, etc. So they're seeing their cost from a public cloud perspective be on the rise drastically. So CIOs and CFOs are taking a hard look at their public cloud cost spend and see what is the right workload strategy to have that cost efficiency. And especially in the last couple of years, because of Gen AI, there's a lot of concerns around privacy, around the data. A lot of your organizations have customer data, intellectual property that they want to leverage Gen AI, but they're very concerned around how this data gets used, who gets access to the data, and where this data resides. So there's a lot of concern around privacy, as well as the cost control and efficiency of using Gen AI applications. So those two are driving our customers to take a fresh look at some of the alternatives out there in the market, where A lot of our customers are looking at repatriating some of their critical workloads back to on-premise or back to a private cloud environment for driving that cost control, for driving that privacy, security, and resiliency. On the other hand, a lot of our customers who have been trying to build their own cloud environment in their on-premise data center have faced with this siloed nature of complexity, where they've created best-of-breed networking, best-of-breed storage, best-of-breed compute environments, and they have become their own system integrators right now to stitch all of these environments together to make it look, feel, and act like a cloud environment. And that has increased in higher cost for managing that swivel chair kind of a management and stitching all these together, as well as lower agility in providing rapid IT services to their end user entity, whether they're line of businesses or end customers that they are providing this service. So this lower agility and higher cost is what is now caused them to take a fresh look at their environment to see, hey, how can I have a true cloud-like experience for our developers so they can provide faster, better services to our end users, right? So those are the two challenges that we see from two alternatives way of deploying a cloud environment. And what our customers have been asking us as part of VMware by Broadcom is to say, hey, there are a lot of advantages of public cloud around developer friendliness, around agility, around on-demand and scale that we have, and also a lot of advantages of an on-premise environment around cost controls for the IT, around security and resiliency, around privacy and compliance requirements. Can you bring both of those two worlds together and the benefits of both these worlds together and deliver a single platform that can provide all of these benefits? And that is what we call the private cloud, right? Where we bring the best of both worlds, the security, the control, cost control, the resiliency of an on-premise environment, and marry that with the agility, the self-service developer friendliness, and the capabilities that public cloud brings together into a private cloud environment. And that brings a lot of benefits to our customers, right? Number one, it's very critical to understand when we say private cloud, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's all on-premise environment, right? Private cloud is more of a cloud operating model for your infrastructure, where you have the capability of managing it yourself in an on-premise environment, or taking that cloud concept and getting it as a managed service through your cloud service providers or your hyperscalers. But the underlying infrastructure is consistent. The experience and the capabilities that you get out of it, no matter where you deploy it, is very consistent. So you have that control, but you also get the flexibility of how you want to deploy and where you want to deploy and how you want it to be managed. That's number one. Number two, it gives you the ownership of the cost, right? So if you are an IT organization that is providing all these services to your tenants, line of businesses or tenants, you can show them the chargeback and the showback of what it costs to run a private cloud, but give them complete control on consuming these services in a very public cloud-like fashion. So there's greater resource efficiency, but a lot more IT control that you don't quite have in a public cloud environment. And finally, it's known to be a highly secure and highly resilient platform, so you can manage and maintain your compliance requirement at an industry level, federal, state, government level that you have in your own environment. So that's the true benefit of private cloud. And when we talk to our cloud architects on what does a good enterprise private cloud needs to look like, including our own Broadcom IT who have gone through this transition, we see a few key elements that needs to be done as a good best practice and blueprint for a private cloud architecture. Number one is the basic thing, right? A private cloud needs to be having a fully software-defined virtualized infrastructure, software-defined compute, software-defined storage, software-defined networking. So you can truly abstract the underlying hardware infrastructure and the hardware complexity and have a software layer to build, manage, and operate. So step one is having a virtualized infrastructure in your cloud environment. Step two is how do you operate on a day zero, day one, day two basis this virtualized infrastructure. So there you need to have fleet level way of managing that infrastructure. whether it's around lifecycle upgrades and maintenance, whether it's around capacity management, config management, analytics and reporting, cost efficiency, et cetera, right? So having a set of automated operations done at a platform level and fleet level with increased visibility and observability across your entire estate is a second key requirement for a good enterprise private cloud. The third key thing is, how do you help your tenants, your developers consume these services that the infrastructure provides in a very easy to use manner, using the tools and using the constructs that the developers are very familiar with and want to use, right? So things like having a self-service portal, which has out-of-the-box IaaS services, out-of-the-box platform services, whether it's for new data services, whether it's for disaster and ransomware recovery type of services, whether it's for advanced security, et cetera, right? But also providing them the flexibility, whether they want an API-driven model, a CLI-driven model, or their modern application deployment, CI/CD way of deploying applications, right? And infra as code, where you can provision the infrastructure using infra as code like Terraform or Ansible kind of capabilities, right? And then a key set of services that you see listed here in the green box, right? Data services, runtime services, container operation services, load balancing as a service, et cetera, right? These critical IaaS, CaaS, and PaaS services that you need. How do we provide that in an easily consumable fashion to your end users, whether they're developers, platform engineers, DevOps? And then it's critical to have a security and compliance requirements across all of these. And what that means from a private cloud and infrastructure perspective is having a common identity and role-based access control, having an easy way of doing data governance and compliance enforcement, where you can see, are your workloads and your infrastructure in compliance with the industry regulation and your federal regulations that you need to take care of. And finally, especially with cyber threats on the rise, it's important to have a cyber resilient infrastructure where you can quickly and rapidly recover from the threats like malware that you as an organization deal with on a day-to-day basis. So having a NIST framework of not only identifying these threats before they happen, preventing these threats from happening, but if it happens and when it happens, rapidly recovering from that in a very, very efficient manner is going to be extremely crucial for every organization. And finally, this private cloud needs to provide services to multiple tenants within your organization, just like a public cloud environment provides, right? So how do you provide multi-tenancy services for your line of businesses, for your developers, for your platform engineers is going to be another key area, right? So this is kind of the blueprint for a good private cloud. And at VMware, this is what we've been working on for the last several years. And now, as part of Broadcom, we are intensely focused on delivering you, our customers, the best private cloud platform in the industry. What it serves is two big, operators or buying centers in organizations. Number one is the VM admins and the cloud admins among you, right? We will help you build, deploy, operate, and manage your infrastructure from a private cloud operating model, right? The software-defined virtual infrastructure that we talked about with that fleet-level automation and operations capability, all provided to you in a single VCF operations console and automation console. That's number one. And step two is for the DevOps, the platform engineers that want to consume the services that the infrastructure provides. That is providing that modern cloud interface that you see in the blue box here, right? Where we'll help you do tenancy management, content management, provide a service catalog for you to orchestrate the different IaaS and PaaS services that you need to consume to build modern applications in a fast and elegant manner. And finally, we know that platform is a means to an end to run applications and different advanced services. So we have a breadth of advanced services that run on top of VMware Cloud Foundation. And most of these are provided by the Broadcom software groups, right? Whether it's around private AI, ransomware and disaster recovery, advanced security and load balancing, container operations and application services, as well as modern data services, et cetera, to name a few. And we will continue to build more and more, not only through Broadcom, but also through third-party partners that we're building with. right? So all of this provided as a single offer for you with the capability to provide add-on services that you see on top, but with license portability, so you can run it on-prem today, but decide tomorrow that you want to move some of your workloads to a private cloud or a hyperscaler environment where you can take your entitlement and give it to them without having to pay anything extra, right? Outside of the managed services that they will charge. So truly giving that flexibility, but providing that consistent infrastructure with the cloud experience that you as an operator and your tenants as developers truly want. Now, this is all good as a vision, but a lot of our customers ask us, help us get there and provide us with the tools, programs, and incentives through our partners that we work with also, as well as your own professional services to help us get there and realize the value in a lot faster way. And this is where the genesis of Private Cloud Modernization Program gave in. Put simply, it provides three big areas, right? It helps you assess where you are in your journey to cloud transformation, right? What is your maturity when it comes to the technical capabilities, the people and the skill set that you need, as well as the processes and the tools that you need to do the successful private cloud transformation? That's step number one. Number two, it helps you accelerate and have faster customer value, right? So you can identify through use cases what are the best opportunities that you have to show both the technical value as well as the business ROI value. And we will create a tailored adoption plan for you with prescriptive design guidance to help you rapidly get value out of VCF. And finally, it's not just about technology and the platform, but a majority of this is helping reskill and retrain people to move from a VI admin to more of a cloud admin and a cloud expert, right? So we have brought in brand new VCF certification program, as well as working with VMUG to make it really, really interesting and exciting for you to get these licenses, to get certified and avail all of the capabilities that we have built in to help you be those cloud experts and the private cloud experts. So those are the three critical elements of the Private Cloud Modernization Program. I'm going to double click on the first one, right? One of the key aspects is every customer is in a various different phase of their journey. That's what we figured out. And they want to know, like, help us understand what level of maturity we have when it comes to different aspects of a private cloud, whether it's around compute, network, storage, management, operations, all of these IaaS and PaaS services that we talk about, right? And also from a process and operational governance aspect, right? So step one is for us to see where are you today from an operational and process standpoint and from an infrastructure standpoint. Step two is where do you want to go, right? And here we focus more on business outcomes and more on use cases. Are you trying to modernize your infrastructure? And what are you trying to modernize your infrastructure for? To provide a self-service way for IaaS and PaaS services to be consumed by the developers, or you want to extend your data center environment to a public cloud environment, for example, as a hybrid cloud, right? That's a simple example of modernizing infrastructure. The same goes for a unified cloud experience, right? What are you trying to do? Deliver infrastructure as code capabilities, or provide new modern workloads like private AI, or run your business critical workloads like your SQL servers or your Kafka databases, et cetera, right? So really trying to identify what kind of experience are you trying to provide to your end users. And finally, around security and resiliency, right? Things like data protection and recovery, rapidly recovering and figuring out what compliance requirements can be met and how do you do it in an elegant, scalable fashion, right? So we have these 9 use cases that you can assess your maturity level. And we have a scale of 1 to 5 for each one of these. And we will work with you, either provided as a self-service tool or through our sales, or now available also via our channel partners. So you can sit with them, go through the questionnaire, and it gives you a level of maturity scoring in terms of where you are in terms of your private cloud modernization. After that, we can truly help you go to where you want through the Jumpstart workshop. But before I go there, I want to hand it over to Drew Nilsson here, who's going to show you a quick demo of the tool that we have put in place that you can utilize today working with our sales team or with your channel partner team to understand your maturity score and how to deploy a private cloud from there. So over to you, Drew.
Thanks, Prashanth. And let me get this up and running. All right. So, hi everyone. Drew Nielsen. I lead VCF Cloud Economics, and today we're going to be walking through the Private Cloud Maturity and Optimization tool. So this is a tool that is open to our sellers and our partners. And when you go through a VCF exercise, we will sit with you and build a collaborative and intellectually honest value model for your own VCF deployment and experience. So you start within the tool. There's some various pieces here around like what's the organization, what segment you fall into. And this tool scales across all of our different segments as well as our partners. We can also populate it with industry-specific data as well as regional data. We'll switch this up for sake of the demo here. And then you have some choices to make. You can do a combined private cloud maturity and TCO assessment. So that walks you through, as Prashanth was talking about, where you are and where you want to go, as well as the value around it. Or you can break those out individually. So let's just jump right into it. We'll do the combined one. So we start with the TCO configuration, and this is where you can come in and you can say, hey, look, I want to define what's my current state, whether I'm a 3-tier or an HCI shop. What current VMware technology am I running? Am I vSphere only? Am I HCI? Do I maybe have some NSX rolling around? And then we go into how do we want to analyze this? And if you're thinking about doing a hardware refresh, we can simulate what a move, say, anywhere between a Gen 1 Intel processor to a Gen 5 processor would look like and what that would do from a value savings and consolidation perspective. In this case, we'll do a Gen 2 to a Gen 4. And then, what's our level of saving sensitivity? So we can go anywhere between very conservative to average to optimistic, depending on how we want to calculate those numbers. And then also how many sockets per server. Typically we see 2, but we go anywhere between 1 to 4. And then, you have normal parameters like total VMs, total hosts, cores, VMs per host, and then storage, whether you're going to do vSAN or traditional storage. And we actually pre-populate these from all the analysis that we've done over the last 5 years. But, let's say you only have 1,000 VMs. We can update that in real time and everything will adjust accordingly. From there, then we say, look, where do you want to start from? What private cloud platform would you like to move to? In this case, we'll do VCF. And then you have the option of comparing up to 9 different options. So for sake of this discussion, we'll do native public cloud and we'll do the competitive with Nutanix, but you could choose other ones if you'd like. And then this is where you get your side-by-side savings comparison over your current state, where you are with VCF, and then where your competitors land. But as you go through this, you're free to come here and tweak whatever number within your current state you want. So you could say, hey, look, I don't think I spend as the 993 on facilities. Maybe that number is 800K, whatever it is. That will update the model in real time. And let's say you want to adjust some of the analysis in your VCF environment. Say, I think I'm only going to get a 10% storage improvement, but I may get 30% more efficiency in labor. You can adjust those numbers as well. And this gives you a side-by-side way to compare all of your options. From there, this is where you start to move into the journey to the private cloud. And this maps to the 9 use cases that Prashanth was talking about. And we align to the 3 pillars of modern infrastructure, cloud experience for developers, and security and resiliency. And you can pick up 1 to 9 use cases. In this case, we'll add workloads. And then let's say, hey, my priorities are changed. I think workloads should be number 2. You can work with your rep to align these however you'd like. And this is where we get into the survey of the private cloud maturity assessment. And this measures 2 things, your operational and process, as well as your infrastructure scores. This is 35 questions across 7 different areas. For sake of the demo, I pre-populated this, just did a little movie magic there. But you can sit with your rep and you can go through these and really kind of say like, look, what's my current state, relationship, and collaboration with service partners? Where am I today? Where do I want to be? And you can go through the various levels of those questions. This does take a little bit to fill out, so for sake of time, we've got that completed. That will give you your scores. So you get a score for ops and process, you get another one for infra, and then we can roll that out so you can see that on a spider chart of like, hey, I'm a 2 at security ops compliance. My desired state is a 4.4, or we can show it to you in a heat map type of function. And then we can also track these over time as you come back and you refine, so you can get the business value realization that goes along with this. Now, then we will also show you the use cases side by side. And in this screen, we're only going to show you the ones that you selected. So you're not going to be encumbered by all 9 up front. And then we give you your scoring ratios. So anything in green is what you've achieved. And then anything in blue is what you would still have to do. And then gray is an area where there's no more measurement there. But this gives you at a volume level where you are in your journey for each one of those use cases. Now this ends up with, we will give you a customized proposal that you will sit down with your team and our team. And typically on the financial side, it's typically about 3 hours, 3 1-hour meetings with like an IT finance team to really go through those numbers and get to that collaborative model, as well as meet with our architects on the for the maturity side to get you down that journey path. So with that, that's the overview of the demo. Prashanth, I'll hand it back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Drew. So I hope that gave you folks a quick glance around how you can use the tool, what is the output of the tool, and what is the value that you bring, the tool brings to you before you get on this journey for private cloud modernization. Now, let's continue the conversation around, this was step 1, right? Around understanding where you are in your journey and assessing the level of maturity to where you want to be. Step 2 truly is to say, hey, once you know where you are and where you want to go, how can we help you accelerate and bring faster success to you, right? And this is where the Jumpstart workshop really helps. So every qualified VCF customer is entitled to this workshop with our professional services team, where we help sit with you. It's a 4-week program where we help you use this tool that we just talked about to understand your current cloud capabilities against your desired private cloud future state, right? And we work from a use case perspective, as well as the functionality and capabilities that you need to be successful from a people, process, and technology perspective. The second step is we truly will provide you a future state architecture, right? Which is a prescriptive architecture that we have learned based on several successful cloud deployments and best practices that we have put in place. And 3, we'll create you a customized adoption plan based on these use cases and based on this prescriptive guidance, right? So you can do it at the pace you want to. So we will meet you in your journey rather than forcing you to be in a particular journey that we have made as a cookie cutter, right? So highly customized, highly tailored adoption plan based on where your maturity is and based on the use cases that you want to drive to. So that is available for all of our qualified VCF customers. The third step is now to really, truly look at the skill set and the capabilities that you have within your team and say, if I need to move to be this cloud admin and a private cloud expert, where am I from a skill set perspective? And this is where we have completely revamped our VCF certification program that we have in the market. So there are 2 aspects to it. One, all of our customers have access to the free digital learning, self-service on-demand learning program, right? If you go to Broadcom support, you will have access to VCF on-demand content for your technical folks, whether you are an architect, whether you are an implementer or an operator of a private cloud with guided lab videos. We will also have instructor-led training for all of the VCF customers that has VCF-focused technical content driven by our certified instructors, whether they're within VMware, Broadcom, or through our education partners that can provide this hands-on exercise for you. Now, on the certification side, we have completely revamped the certification. So we have certification based on the roles that you now play in your organization, and we want you to be platform experts. So our VMware Certified Professional will have a VCF certification program for you to build a platform expertise, right? For you to build a private cloud expertise. But there will also be specialized VCAP certification program if you want to be a networking expert within the private cloud environment, or a storage expert, or an automation expert, or a compute expert within that, right? So there is flexibility, but we want to really focus you to be more of a cloud admin and a cloud architect and not just be a component expert, right? So that's the critical shift that we have done in terms of our VCF certification program. And finally, for those of you who had a chance to attend our Explore Las Vegas or Explore Barcelona, you could see the commitment from our CEO, Hock Tan, in terms of our user group, VMUG, right? This is a 150,000 strong user group that Brad is going to give you a quick update on. And we want to double down our commitment to grow this VMUG community to help you professionally develop into becoming cloud experts and also help you in your learning and reskilling, right? So to make that happen, all of the VMUG Advantage members will now have access, exclusive access to free personal use license for VCF, right? For up to 3 years when you take the VCP or VCAP certification program. And we also make sure that to get that certification, we provide you a pretty big discount of 50% off for any VCP or VCAP exams that you can take, right? So as you can see, you're truly committed not only to building the platform and technology, but also to help you reskill yourself and becoming part of this user group and becoming the champions and advocates, and truly using that platform to provide us feedback on what we can do to be better in terms of building that product and tools and programs in place. So with that, I want to bring in Brad Tompkins here, who's the Executive Director of VMUG, to talk a bit more about what is VMUG's mission for those of you who may not be aware of this program, and what are the ways in which VMware now as part of Broadcom is working very, very closely with VMUG to help drive that community and to increase the community and to help reskill and retrain the community. So with that, over to you, Brad.
Thanks so much, Prashanth. I appreciate you having me on, and it's good to talk to everybody. So my name is Brad Tompkins. I'm the VMUG Executive Director. And just a little bit about VMUG. VMUG is an independent organization. Obviously, we're tightly aligned with Broadcom, but we're an independent org. We're a 501c. For those in the US, you'll know what that is. And our mission is for our members to get the most out of VMware and partner solutions. Membership is free. The majority of our events are free. We have user cons all across the globe. We had a big presence at both Explores this year. So you'll see us all over the place. We have local chapters too, over 200 chapters all over the globe that you and your team can get plugged into. And again, our mission is for people to get the most out of VMware and partner solutions, because we know it takes this V community, that we like to call it, for everybody to get the most out of their infrastructure. And now more than ever, you really need to be sweating your assets and making sure you're getting everything you can out of every piece of software and every piece of hardware that you have. So as Prashanth mentioned about VMUG Advantage, we are moving to a model to where you can get access to full VCF. This is not something that we've had in the past. You know, we kind of had the pieces parts, but the full VCF is coming soon if you're a VMUG Advantage subscriber and if you pass your VCP VCF. So once you do that, you can have a 3-year license for your home lab, obviously not for production, but for your home lab. And I can tell you that a lot of VMUG members, they use this and they do it in their home labs. I often joke, there's a lot of people that have home labs that can run many companies, many commercial companies out there because of what they have in their home labs. But this is where they learn. This is where they figure out, okay, let's do that upgrade. Let's go ahead and upgrade to, maybe it's VCF 5.2, those kind of things. Let's test out the new features, brownfield import, or maybe live patching, those kind of things. do it in a home lab before you do it in production for obvious reasons. But that's a huge benefit of being a VMUG Advantage subscriber. Now, what I'm hearing out there, and I go to user cons all over the globe, and it is really interesting. You know, obviously at the beginning of the year, there was a lot of FUD out there, a lot of, you know, people saying things that, you know, weren't exactly true, a lot of unknowns too. Broadcom was still working it out. Day 2 hadn't happened yet, and those sort of things. But now the conversation is about the technology. When 5.2 came out, people are like, okay, wow, I've been waiting on these type of things. And kudos to Broadcom to getting that out so quickly after acquisition. I mean, really, we're just coming up on a year, and a major release like 5.2 is already out. And of course, we're talking about 9.0 as well. But people have really shifted, and they've done their due diligence, which, you know, we encourage all members to do. You look at competitors, but they're coming back and saying, no one can deliver like VMware. So how do we make this work? And speaking of sweating the assets, you know, maybe we got a little lazy and we're running VMs at 25, 15%, 30%. Don't do that anymore. Make sure you're maxing out those cores, just like we did 20 years ago when we first started doing virtualization with servers. Now we can do virtualization with data centers, and that's what our members are excited about. And of course, doing this through VCF. Yesterday, I was at an event in Nashville, and Chris McCain, who of course was on keynote stage at both Explorers, you know, was talking about, you know, VCF and securing VCF and even beyond. Like, you get VCF, but now you deploy vDefend and you get that security that you need. So that whole package and the depth and breadth is there with VCF. So that's what our members are excited about. And yes, coming in the March timeframe, you will be able to get your full VCF for your home lab. And we're looking forward to that. And we'll have more information on that as it comes out. But in the meantime, if you're an end user, a Broadcom employee, a partner employee, go become a VMUG member. You can go to vmug.com/join, and that is free to join. If you want to become an Advantage subscriber, it's $210 US, but we always joke, no one pays full price for Advantage. So you can use the discount code COMMUNITY in all caps, and that will save you 10%. It brings it down to $189 US. Trust me, that is the best investment that you can make in your career, and it's definitely worth it. If you need to get a PO so your company can pay for it, or you want to use a company credit card, you know, we take whatever you got. We'll take it. We'll figure it out. But if you have any questions on that, let me know, and I'll drop my contact information in the chat. But thanks so much for having me on here. Become a VMUG Advantage subscriber. Definitely become a VMUG member. VMUG membership is free. Use the code COMMUNITY, and you can get VMUG Advantage for $189.
Thank you. Thanks, Brad. This is great. So I think the call to action is very clear here, right? So I'll end with this, right? So we all truly want to partner with you, help you meet where you are in your journey to your modernization effort when it comes to cloud, and help you provide the tools, the incentives and programs, and the community to help you get there, right? So the QR code that you see here is for our private cloud modernization and optimization tool. So we can scan the QR code and request an assessment through our sales or through our partner organization. Get involved in the VMUG community, as Brad mentioned. There's a ton of information, and your peers can share a lot of best practices as well as pitfalls and challenges that they have faced as they have moved towards this private cloud journey with VCF and through, and a lot of our customers, as Brad mentioned, are vSphere customers, right? And VCF 5.2 that we released is a great step towards moving to get you started in this, so that when VCF 9 comes, it's a very easy upgrade into the VCF 9, right? So get started now. You don't need to wait for the next major release. You can get started today with VCF 5.2 and avail all of the free digital learning programs and get certified. And if you become VMUG Advantage member, as Brad mentioned, you get discounts on the certification program as well as the free personal home use license too. So hope that gave you a quick overview of this modernization program. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Anders here to see if you have any questions to be answered.
You know, we actually had a couple come in, but it looks like the team's already taken really good care of them. And that means everybody's either sleeping or they're super happy, and I'm inclined to agree, super happy at this point.
Or
So
both, yeah.
yeah, or both. Who knows? No judgment here. So yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again, everybody. Again, lots of fantastic content today. I know a lot of folks are really looking forward to what we're doing in the future here with everything, and we're going to continue to provide these webinars to get you all of the information hot off the presses, and provide the opportunity to get one-on-one conversations with a lot of our experts. Take a look at our roadmap and answer a lot of technical questions to help you with your adoption and consumption journey as well. So thanks again to everybody. And with that, I'll unless we have any further notes, tell everybody have a good day.
Thank you.
Doing good. All right. Take care, folks.